Hey folks, welcome back to DCS. In the last update, the FC3 pack got a texture overhaul, so I thought I'd go and hop in the A10 to see if there's any notable differences. Obviously the gameplay is exactly the same as it always was, the controls are all the same. I haven't really noticed anything different in terms of like visual changes to the switchology, like I don't think anything new moves that didn't before. But it does look a bit cleaner. The textures on the stick especially look much better, but the most notable change to the gameplay I've found is that the Maverick display is much more, it looks more like you're looking at an actual monitor rather than a box with, it was like a window before that had a filter on it, if you know what I mean, but now there's like, it kind of reminds me of when you used to pause or rewind an old VHS tape and you'd get like that sort of film grain effect. It kind of looks like that. A bit like a cathode ray tube TV. I doubt that's what it was, but that's kind of what it feels like. So anyway, we're out in the A10, heading to the front line. I think I've got a camp spotted here about 7 miles off the nose, so we're going to zoom in. You can kind of see what I mean about the display now. And that guy on the left looks distinctly like a Strela to me. So Enigma added IR SAMs to the front line a while ago. Apparently there's a very slim, I think like 10% chance or something of encountering one. But you really have to be looking the right way when you do spot one, because if one of these guys fires on you when you're like cold from it and you're not aware of it, it's a bad time. So obviously we are prioritising the thing that can actually threaten us. So we've rifled off on the Strela. This thing on the right looks like a shulker. The thing to the right of the Strela looked like a flak gun or some kind of Bofors gun. High caliber. Maybe an in-place ZSU 57. So that guy can go third. And the last thing, I don't know what this is, but yeah, rifle on that as well. So, if you remember, the first thing we fired at was the Strela, but the first thing to die was not the Strela. I don't know how, but the Maverick, meant for the most threatening target, magically seemed to fail. So now we've got to deal with a Strela despite not having any Mavericks left, which is fine, you know. The Strela, you can decoy the missiles pretty easily. I'm actually spamming flares out like a crazy person right now, and you can see the missiles just give up almost immediately. So we're going to pickle a single Mark A2 on that guy, and there we go, shock Strela. Whilst this has been going on, I've noticed that there is a MiG-29 about 16 miles away. And initially I thought I'm just going to ignore that guy, but I did a friendly picture call for an A10, well for anyone, but it said an A10 was 5 miles away, so I see if I can visually acquire him, and it just so happens that as I do, the MiG is engaging him, so the MiG's going high there, A10's just disappearing off the left side of the screen. If I can jump this guy whilst he's occupied, then that gives me my greatest chance of taking him out, because if he decides he's going to kill me, then I'm going to die. That's basically how it goes. I could ditch all of my ground shit to be a bit more efficient at this, but I'm hoping that he will just continue boom and zooming without realising that I'm here, and I'll just be able to fox to him. But he is unfortunately paying attention. And he plays everyone's least favourite game, the runaway game. And he plays it for so long that both me and the other A10 get bored, and we move on to hit some more ground targets. As I realise that I'm using the wrong bomb on that thing, I notice that he's actually finally turned hot again. This is like 5-6 minutes later. And typically, he picks me rather than the other guy, and he fires an R3R off at me. So I try to break the lock by diving. It doesn't care, so I try and nose up sharply to defeat it kinetically, and it doesn't care about that either, so we are now dead. Since there's an air presence for the enemy team, I decided to hop in the F-5 and try to deal with it. But the transit flight is quite long, and Red have a hex that's kind of squidged in the middle of a bunch of blue hexes. So I figure I'll bring some Mark A2s in and see if I can hit some ground stuff in the F5 as well, because at the minute Red are pushing pretty hard. Don't want to let them get the upper hand, so even in a fighter I kind of want to do a little bit of work on the ground just to help progress our front line a little bit. So we're going to pickle off on that shulker. I only know it's a shulker because it shot at me. We were going much too fast. The dive angle, the side depression was all pretty good, but the overspeed just meant that the bomb went flying past it. As we're coming in, there's an A10 doing a gun run on the shulker. So the shulker is now dead. We're going to switch our target to whatever this thing is. Pickle on that thing. Much more favourable parameters that time, and we actually slap it right in the face. Pretty happy about that one. So now I'm going to terribly fumble my keybinds to get rid of the pylons, and once we are pylon free we can switch over to a more typical air-to-air roll. There we go. So currently there is a Mirage F.1 CE 12 miles away, and he's at 27,000 feet, so I look in that direction and I can see a contrail. I'm almost pushing Mach 1 right now, so I'm just going to try and predict his flight path, pull some lead, and then do a gradual climb to be like 6,000 or 7,000 feet beneath him. I misjudge it horribly, and I chase him for a bit. He decides to turn hot, so we are engaged in a head-on merge right now. He does some weird AOA shit there and tries to snapshot me, and it does not pan out. I know from flying the Mirage F1 myself that if you pull significant AOA above a certain speed, then you can compressor stall your engine, which I think is what he did. As I was tailing him to catch up, I realised that I was picking up speed and closing the gap extremely quickly. And I didn't get tone until I got really close, which tells me that his engine is not actually on right now. So he is no threat at all. I'm not even sure he'd be able to fire his guns or his missiles, so we're just going to pick him apart with the gun. He was probably heads down trying to figure his engine stuff out, because I have no idea why he didn't eject early or try and evade, or yeah, I don't know what was going on there. Moving on, we climbed up for some fuel conservation, but there's a MiG-29 7 miles to our north on the deck, so I'm going to flip over and I just so happen to spot him straight away because there's some flares going off, missile trails and the like. Unfortunately I lose him about now, so we just bottom out at the bottom of our dive, and I'm just going to circle sort of lazily trying to maintain my speed until I can get another EWO report update to figure out where to look to find him. I think he won the engagement that we saw the flares and the missiles going off for, because he just seems to be egressing right now. He's not paying attention to anyone, so much like the last guy, I'm not going to waste a missile on a target that's unaware of me. So I'm just going to close in. He does hit the burner and start turning harder here. He maybe got a call and he's looking for me, but the 21 has really shitty rearward visibility and I don't think he actually saw me here at all. So that's the end of that guy. Repeating the trend for the fuel conservation, we climb back up to about 20,000 feet and we're kind of cruising around at just under mil throttle. EWR says that there is another target 24 miles away, or 24,000 feet, about 20 miles away, I think that's what it said.
They were going northeast.
We can see the contrails again, so it looks like he's just started aggressively climbing. I'm going to put in a shallow dive and hit the burner to boost my max speed above Mach 1, and then I'm just going to try and do the same thing I did last time, but hopefully better this time. And we do in fact time it much better and get within missile launch range. This guy actually looks to be quite slow. I think he climbed a bit too aggressively. And because of that, at this altitude, he can't manoeuvre well at high altitude at all, so he is going to eat this missile. So that is splash number 3. Cruised around at high altitude again for a while, and then I got a call for a fishbed and a frogfoot on the deck. So I dive in for the fishbed, but I don't find him. But I do spot this frogfoot whilst I'm entering my rate, to keep myself safe whilst I'm searching.
Close.
Frog footers are actually really dangerous for the F-5 because they have more thrust to weight, I think. They seem to anyway. They can out-accelerate you quite handily, they can out-climb you from low speed, they can out-rate you easily. So you really have to boom and zoom them in the old World War II style, and hopefully you don't miss. We did get some hits there, and something fell off him. It looked like a wing, but DCS's funky damage models seem to have allowed him to regrow it instantly, so he appears to be fine. We used the speed we had to climb again, so we're just continuing that boom and zoom tactic that I just talked about. And in the loop over, I noticed that the 21 I was looking for before is no longer on the EWR reports, so I'm going to assume that friendly killed him. We managed to get an engine on fire and knock his rudder off there, so he is out for the count. And there goes the ejection. Kill number 4. Again, up to 26,000 feet this time. Our fuel is extremely low. I've just put the crossfeed on the fuel pumps because there's genuinely a risk that my fuel might run out. I am really cruising around on low throttle here, but I have a missile left, so when this guy pops up at 31 miles, I make a beeline for him. He doesn't see me. He actually turns to make the missile's job a little bit easier. 5 kills, nice tidy ace. My fuel is now on literally nothing, and I've idled the throttle. I glided on idle from like 30,000 feet. I did about 20-30 miles, shallow dive, landing the same place we took off. And I'm going to attempt to put it in a hangar once we touch down.
205 taking off from enable 1.
A little bit of left rudder just to balance out the crosswind. Touchdown at 140 knots. Pretty nice. And on the way to the hangar, the fuel runs out. Really timed that about as well as I could have. Maybe I could have got there and done the shutdown procedure legitimately first, but I'll take it. I'm pretty happy with how that went. So now that the skies are clear, we can hop back in the A10. Spawned at a different airbase this time because I want to push to their closest airbase, which is Bashar al-Assad, in the hope of destroying any air defences that it has. Because obviously the A10 is a bit shitty when it comes to fighting fires. Although I do have a video where me and Sovereign absolutely wrecked face in the A10 and we ended up basically doing a cap flight instead of a cast flight. I'll stick a sticky in the page or maybe link in the description if you want to go check that out. I think between us we got 8 kills in one sortie in the A10. It was pretty fucking wild. But anyway, we arrive at Bashar and it looks like someone else has already been here. Usually you'd be getting locked up by SA8s right about now, but there doesn't seem to be any of that, so I fire on what I think is some kind of SHORAD system, but as it connects, the kill feed actually says it was a ZSU-57. I'm not sure how I mistook that for something more noteworthy, but it looks like 2 things died down there, but it's only given me 1 in the feed, so confusing. I do spot some other units at the foot of the runway. There's this guy here, there's a guy further to the right, and we're going to rifle on him first, and we'll come around for the other guy in a moment. Scanning the location of the first splash to see if there's anything else down there, but can't see anything. And then my spider sensor's tingling, and that other unit from the foot of the runway is another ZSU, and it's spamming off its 57 mils at me. Bit too close for missiles, so I would like to say switching to guns, but I'm not quite brave enough to head on a AAA emplacement. I'm not sure if these things get procs fused rounds in DCS, because I know they do in WarThunder, and it would be suicide. So we're going to do a dive bomb again with the Mark 82 Strela style from earlier. Looks like he actually shot the wall to pieces that he's next to in his vain attempt to kill me. So pickle on that guy. And shack him and the rest of that wall. All that remains are 2 logistical trucks, so we're going to just BRRRRRRRRT them since we're here and we've got our trusty Gawain. Rookie error not accounting for the wind using the smoke from the other stuff, so we make a quick adjustment. pick him off. I won't make that mistake on the next one. So here, using the smokestack, wind's blowing left, so aim a bit to the right. And that's the end of that guy. Since there's no other units there, I start heading inland a little bit, and I find that on the way there's actually a MiG-29 running in for me. He's 24 miles away at the moment, which is alarmingly close, and he's hot, which means he's basically making a beeline for me. On the friendly picture calls, which I cut out, there is nothing nearby to help me. So really what I should be doing here is running directly cold and ditching all my shit. But because I have this Hollywood movie protagonist syndrome, I'm thinking of the content and how cool would it be if I bagged a MiG-29 in the A10. I'm not going to spoil it for you. I'm just going to run you through my tactics. So I want to continue on with my ground attack streak after killing this guy, because naturally I'm going to kill this guy, right? This is going on YouTube, so surely there's going to be some cool shit happening, right? I'm staying low in the weeds because I want to make it harder for him to pick me up on radar. Obviously if he's smart enough to go high, then it won't make much difference, but I'm going to attempt to pass under him without him noticing me, turn around and fire a heater up his arse before he realises what's going on. Now, one thing I forgot about when this was happening is that Enigma for some reason decided that the MiG-29 should have R73 high off bore sight Fox 2s now, because it used to just get R60Ms, which were, you know, fairly okay to deal with, and it was really just the MiG's flight performance that carried it rather than its weapon load. But that is not the case anymore, so I really have to be careful because these missiles are batshit insane. He is about 2 miles off my nose now, slightly to the left. He isn't on the radar, so he must be using EO. 2 miles, 063. I actually see him visually now. There he goes over my head. He did spot me because he's turning in relation, so we're taking him one circle. Or he's taking us one circle. Here come the bullshit Hobbs missiles, so we're flaring. That was ridiculously close. I'm not sure if the prox fuse must cease to work if the missile gets decoyed. I feel like that's some... I don't think that should happen, but I'm not complaining. We are alive. Maintaining visual, and he's just fired another one, so I'm shitting out flares like a crazy person again, and we are still alive. At this point I should really have ditched all my shit, but I still want to go and do some other stuff once I've killed him, because obviously I'm going to kill him. I have no idea what he's doing, other than giving me hope. So I'm ditching my flaps to landing right now so that I can hold this nose up attitude for as long as possible. I'm full backstick, using the rudder to aid the roll. I'm hoping here that I will get under him, he will roll left, and I will gun him in a glorious way when he crosses my nose, but yeah, he had other ideas. Moving on, I think it's time to hop in the F-5 again. So currently the MiG-29 is the closest guy. I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of hellbent on murdering him now, because until he is dead I don't feel safe in the A10, and obviously the F-5 is not a match for the Fulcrum at all, especially not when it carries R73s. But I'm still in Hollywood movie mode in the vain hope that something awesome will happen. I'm staying low in the valleys. I just did a wide loop around to the right to stay underneath the peaks so I can head into these valleys without going over the crests, because I kind of overshot this entryway. He's pretty close, but there's also a frog foot in the area. Now, one thing that you really can't see in the video is how much I was shitting it right now. In the reports it's quite obvious what it is that I'm looking at in a second, but because I was so, I was kind of tunnel vision, not gonna lie. I visually acquire something right now. It's sort of top third of the screen, travelling right to left, I'll stick an annotation link. And I'm thinking, holy fuck, is that him? Because I've got him dead to rights if it is. I know there's a frogfoot nearby as well, but I don't want to look away from him in case it is him and I never see him again. So I missed that report that said the frogfoot was flanking left and the Fulcrum was hot, or cold, or whatever it said, I forget. I'm even doing it now whilst I'm doing the commentary. But as I get a lot closer, I realise, holy shit, that's the fucking frogfoot. And do you know what that means? I just gave my ass to a Fulcrum, and he has Fox 1s. So I am hitting the deck, hitting the burner. There's the missile trail for the R-27. I'm going to try and sort of do some pilot shit and get it to hit the ground. So I'm trying to drive it into the earth. I'm going to pull right behind this hill and hope that he's stupid, because I'm going to pull left now. I'm going to hope that he continues to think I've gone right, doesn't spot me visually, and keeps going the other way, and maybe gives his 6 to me. In Hollywood, that's totally what would happen. Unfortunately, this is real life, and he does not do that. So he fires an R-73, we managed to float that one off. We pull vertical, and right now I'm thinking, wow, this is going pretty well. There's no way that missile's going to track, so I ignore it. Didn't even try and fly that one, because I just figured there's no way it's doing a 180 and killing me. You thought wrong. Back up again. There's another F-5 engaged with the Mirage F.1, and here my thinking is, if I help this guy out, I'll have a buddy, and he'll be able to help me with the Fulcrum. And by help, I mean distract while I kill, because I feel like I've done a lot of the hard work here. So we'll save our friendly. Got some hits, glancing hits it looked like, in the head-on. Coming around, maintaining visual. Not quite sure at this point whether he's on me or my teammate. He's flaring, teammate's gone over his head, and his wing rips off. So the damage that I dealt with the guns managed to cause enough structural faults that he ripped his wing when he pulled. Nice tidy kill for me. MiG-29 is 15 miles away running cold, and the heading he's running cold along is towards Basel al-Assad. So here I'm thinking, oh my god, he's going to land at a base that I know has no air defences because I cleared them all up earlier. And he fired, I can't remember off the top of my head, but he fired the 2 R-27s at me last time, and I think he fired 3 73s at me in the A-10, and 1 earlier in the last, or no, was it 2? Maybe he has landed at some point, I don't know, but in my head right now I'm thinking, he's at a base that has no defences, and he doesn't have any missiles left. So this is a true pilot-to-pilot, inferior aircraft to superior aircraft dogfight that's going to be fucking awesome. This is my Hollywood moment, it's going to happen. There he is. He hasn't fired on me, that's a good sign. We've merged. Don't want to go too high too fast and bleed off too much speed, so I'm going to level the nose out here and see if I can get a snapshot. It's not going to work, so I'm going to roll back over and dive. He can generate energy much better than I can, because he has like 4 million times the thrust. We're diving, it's going one circle, he's definitely winning, but my energy state's not totally gone yet. Looks like he's trying to take me right, but I'm going to flip it, and he's flipped it too, so we're going one circle, I'm climbing. Oh, for fuck's sake. I feel robbed. I would have probably died anyway, not going to lie, but it would have been nice to be allowed to try. In an environment where I knew he didn't have missiles, it would have been really nice to just see if I could gun kill a Fulcrum. What's really upsetting is that in SRS, the guy's like, oh, I don't really know what he was doing there, he wasn't trying very hard, and it's just like, yeah, because he was dogfighting me, just let me have it. One day I'll do it. I have gun killed a Fulcrum in the Skyhawk before, just saying. If you go and check my video for that, I'll maybe stick another sticky. I'm in sticky mode. I'll put one on the top right if I can figure out how. I don't think I've done it before. Can't be that hard. Anyway, that's the end of the video, folks. Hope you enjoyed. A little bit of a hollow victory. It's nice to be alive, but I would have rather got the kill myself. Hollywood has rejected my request to join their ranks, unfortunately. But we will keep trying. And if you want to keep seeing my vain attempts, then subscribe to see more. Hit hit that like button if you liked it. Check out the other links for becoming a channel member or supporting the channel via air models, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.